It's Greatest Hits Radio, and it's confession time. But before we actually get there, of course, we need to have something from the trolley. And I do blame Suze for reminding me about that. Is it the Captain's Ginger? Was that the drink you told us about last week?
The King's Ginger.
King's Ginger,
Yes.
That's the one, which is just one of those irresistible autumnal drinks.
Of course.
So I blame Suze for the increased alcoholic consumption.
Oh,
always
okay.
drink sensibly.
Yeah.
What are you choosing today?
Well, I've gone for something non-alcoholic today, which still has ginger in it, but I thought a hot toddy would be nice. So ginger, lemon and honey. And for Matt, maybe put some whiskey in it, which
Why
I'd
not?
go with a blended monkey shoulder, which would be quite tasty in a hot
yes.
toddy. But, you know, it's that time of year. It's a bit
It
cold.
is. And then a little bit of King's Ginger.
Well, you
Ginger, why not?
In there.
Yeah.
You definitely could put King's Ginger in a hot toddy.
I think so. Today's confession comes from Mr. Bartholomew Blackbeard,
Right.
not his actual name.
No.
Father Simon and fellow brethren. Back in the early noughties, my wife, Mrs. Blackbeard, and I were having a fantastic adventure, sailing around some little-known, but also some very well-known islands in the Caribbean.
Ooh.
Not on one of the many large, vulgar cruise ships, but on a small, tasteful yacht, manned by our very helpful Captain Rick.
Okay.
Nice.
What do you think?
No, go on.
We had been on our journey for quite a few days, and our confidence was growing as to the day-to-day processes of operating the yacht, hoisting the sails, and dropping the occasional anchor. Everything was going, I guess you could say, swimmingly, with only leisurely dipping and sunbathing on deck, taking us away from our duties. We sailed to our next destination, a small cove on a very small island, which had a reputation for its rum and gin bar, which was a not-to-be-missed venue. We arrived late afternoon, dropped anchor, at which point Captain Rick informed us that, although the island looked like paradise, it did suffer with 21st century pirates. And they were nothing like Jack Sparrow and his friends in the film. And they were, in fact, just after any mobiles, watches and cash that they could get their hands on. But they were definitely fierce and scary, and everyone needed to be on maximum alert. Therefore, to keep things safe, Captain Rick would stay on board and we would inflate the little dinghy and row ashore to enjoy the facilities.
Okay.
Ready for our night out? We made the shore in just a few minutes, rowing like the Oxford team, and after securing the dinghy, we hit the said bar. It is safe to say, Father Simon, that we can report back that the local rum and gin were indeed very, very fine indeed. Too many indeeds, but anyway, they were the rum and the gin.
They were fine, weren't they?
After a while, you forget what words you're using.
Yeah.
And after 1 or maybe 4 hours sampling the local delicacies, we decided to make our way back to the yacht. We found our dinghy and slid into it without too much trouble. I took to the oars and started out to the bay. I was, of course, facing backwards with my wife, Mrs. Bartholomew Blackbeard, giving directions. Of course, we sang loudly appropriate songs. 15 Men on a Dead Man's Chest.
Of course, yeah.
Yo Ho Ho and a Bottle of Rum. Also, Yo Ro Heave Ho. These were all pirate songs.
They were.
And classics, which you have to do under these circumstances, particularly if fueled by rum and gin. And then my wife says, well, I think we've got a problem here. At which point, I turned. That's the way pirates talk.
It is, yes. No.
Is it?
Yeah. At which point I turned around to see approximately 20 or 30 identical white yachts in the moonlight, all of which looked precisely like ours. Most being hire boats, again like ours, and they just had a number on the side with no names. And we didn't know our number. We decided that what we would have to do is just guess and have a punt and pull alongside what was hopefully our yacht and then quietly say, yo ho ho, or something piratey, because that's what you do.
Is it?
Yes. Anyway, this did not go down.
Oh, did it not?
Didn't it?
No.
Surprise.
Then we would quietly shout, Captain Rick, bottle of rum. Captain Rick, bottle of rum. Anyway, the problem was the fact that everyone in the harbour that night had been given the heads up about pirates, and were all sleeping very light and not expecting a boarding party, shouting, Captain Rick, yo ho ho, have you got any rum at 3 a.m. in the morning? One boat after another greeted us like we were from the Jolly Roger, armed with cutlasses and sporting wooden legs and parrots squawking about pieces of 8. We were yelled at, threatened with physical violence, and one person who took it upon himself to tell us the caliber of his gun that he had. And if we took one further step on his boat, he was going to use it. I kept saying that all we wanted to have was a cup of tea and a biscuit. This was dismissed as a likely story and just the kind of thing a pirate would say. We eventually spotted a flashlight being shone in our direction, and not for the first time on the adventure, Captain Rick came to our rescue. We wish to ask forgiveness to all the fellow sailors that we must have given quite a shock to with our drunken attempts to find our yacht and bunks. A fantastic night though we had, but no doubt the other sailors in the harbour would probably wish that we didn't. Lots of love, Mr. Bartholomew Blackbeard. I'm not sure pirates actually sign off by saying lots of love.
Do they not?
I wouldn't have thought
Okay.
so. They would be more piratical and dangerous and scary.
Yes, yeah.
But anyway, Suze, what do you say to Mr. Blackbeard?
Well, it sounds like great fun, and I'm definitely up for visiting said gin and rum place because it sounds great. However, how do you expect you're going to find your boat? They all look the same. You should have paid attention to the number. And if I thought there were pirates around, I probably wouldn't have appreciated you trying to board my yacht anyway. But I just think it's quite fun, and I don't know why, but I'm in a forgiving mood. Blackbeard, so
Yeah, that's probably all the hot toddies that you've been consuming. Brother Matthew, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to forgive. Because, it's not as if modern day pirates announce themselves by saying yo ho ho and having the pieces of 8 anymore, do they? So really the people on board the yacht should have known that these weren't pirates at all. They were just people who'd had a bit too much of the gin and the King's Ginger, etc. So I'm going to forgive life amongst the haves and the have-yachts, I think. So
Okay.
for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
Okay, that's very good. Is
Yeah,
that
it
what
is
you were
very
gearing
good.
up to?
Yeah, I was gearing up to that one.
Okay,
Went very well.
it's the people's verdict, please. Do you forgive Mr. Bartholomew Blackbeard and also Mrs. Blackbeard, who was part of the problem, I suspect? 61054. First word is Simon. Just before the news, we had our first confession of the week from Bartholomew Blackbeard. It was basically a contemporary story of pirates of the Caribbean with an awful lot of rum being taken and a lot of mistaken yacht identity. The people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Faye in Chester says, forgiven. Got to forgive these two clowns. So easy to drink too much, and all these yachts look the same anyway. Not forgiven, though, says Steve in New Brighton. I very much doubt that the boat didn't have a name. All boats have names. They'd been on the boat for several days, so surely they should know its name. But Sue says, forgiven. I have to forgive because spotting your boat in the dark is hard. I had a similar thing happen to me, although I didn't start walking aboard random people's yachts.
Do you find it difficult to identify your yacht in the dark?
I do. It's a constant problem for me.
No, it's just a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a yacht-based confession. We would love to hear about it. Please send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio. It's confession time in just a moment. However, it is, of course, thirsty work. We need something to be nicked from the drinks trolley. There it goes, trundling past. What are we going for today, Suze? What have you selected for us?
I've gone for a very lovely DDH, which is double dry hopped hazy pale ale called Full Charge.
Okay, that sounds a little strong.
5.5%.
Okay, all right, be careful. But although Tuesday's gin and tonic night at Matt's house.
It is!
Yes.
Where he has
yes.
something with his
Lemon.
Exactly, that's how it has to be. Okay, so today's confession comes from Nigel. All right, Nigel, thank you very much. Simon, here is my confession regarding my former teacher, the late Mr. Bongo Giles. And this act for which I seek contrition occurred in the winter of 1978 when I was a relatively studious 14-year-old in an all-boys school, St Custard's, in Hull, East Yorkshire. St Custard's has been absent for a while, we're putting that right.
Yes.
I don't know how Bongo got his name. It was a name that had been passed down the years. Both my elder brothers had been taught by him at some point in the school. In fact, he was by far my favourite teacher, except for that time when he gave me the classic 100 lines, I must not yap in class. He taught me physics through O-level and then to A-level as well. He lived not far from me. We often chatted when we passed in the street after I'd left school and he'd retired. But I'd never dared tell him about this story. But here are the facts as they happened almost 50 years later. One winter's morning, Bongo was on duty on the school field with a mug of steaming hot tea in his hand, vainly trying to quell the inevitable snowball fight between 500 lads.
Oh my goodness.
You know how snowy weather nowadays always means indoor play? Well, here's one of the reasons why. Snowball fights are one of life's great joys. Gloves or no gloves? Is it the right snow or the wrong kind of snow? Big, soft, splatty snowball or small, compact, fast-flying snowball? All these decisions are vital and have to be taken in a split second. Sometimes you get it right, and sometimes this happens. You see, it was me that lobbed a snowball at a classmate in the distance. But, unlike Elvis Costello, my aim was not true. And this was a snowball whose trajectory curved like a pure sine wave, almost as if it were in slow motion, straight into Bongo's mug of steaming hot tea, scalding him and soaking his clothes so much that he had to go indoors and seek medical assistance and a change of clothing. Despite an appeal at an unusually full school assembly the following morning for the perpetrator to come forward, I never owned up. And amazingly, no one, and here Nigel says, no one spragged on me.
What?
Which I haven't heard that as a phrase.
From St. Custard's, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, no one
Yeah.
told tales. Yeah, that's the way they talk at St. Custard's. I spent the next few days lying low, avoiding him and hiding at the back of his excellent physics lessons in case my face brought about a deep-seated memory in his brilliant mind. Days turned into weeks, into months and even years until I was finally able to leave school and put it behind me. However, I have failed to fully do so until now. So there you have it. I finally said it. I've laid it bare for all to hear. It was me. It has haunted me for all these years, and I feel it's time to fess up, get it off my chest and ask for forgiveness. I honestly never intended to hit him with that snowball. But I have to say, I was rather proud of the way it curved, a shot I'd never be able to replicate in 1,000 years. Sorry, sir, you were and still are a true legend. That is some shot. If you, from a long distance, if you manage to get a snowball into your teacher's cup of tea, even though, obviously, you say you love it, but that's a very careless and reckless thing to say, Matthew, because obviously, steaming hot tea, you can't mess around.
That's true.
You can't mess around.
No.
And Sister Susie is now about to take a hard line, I imagine.
Well, yeah, I hear what he's saying, Nigel. It was his favourite teacher. He really loved him. All sounds a little bit too little, too late, really, because it was scalding hot tea. And if I had a cup of tea and someone spilt it, I'd be cross, because it's just a waste of tea. Not only has it potentially scalded him in places that we won't mention, but he also needed a change of clothes. He probably ended up wearing some lost property. It just sounds terrible for Bongo. So for that reason, danger.
Yeah.
Is that where he was holding the tea?
Well, I don't know. I think Susie's just imagined that actually he had that it could have scalded it.
Yes.
In his.
Well, it could have gone. It's going to go down, isn't it?
That's true. It can only go down.
It could only go down, but assuming he was quite high up, I was imagining it went on his shirt or something.
Yes,
but maybe it went on his trousers.
Lighted on something there. He's wearing someone else's trousers. Wow.
So and he spent the day in lost property.
Lost property as well. These are all twists.
He could have been wearing like a hockey skirt or something.
Hockey skirt, yes, for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Imagine that. I'm going to forgive. What teacher brings a cup of tea to a snowball fight? That makes no sense. And you would think that a physics teacher, teacher should have known that because of all of the thermal dynamics and the rest of it. Yes, I'm going to forgive. Love the use of the sine wave. He'd have appreciated that, wouldn't he? Old Bongo Giles with his physics. So, in the words of Billy Ocean, get out of my snowball fight and into my car. Yes. I'm going to forgive.
I don't think that works, actually. Yeah, but full marks for the sine wave getting a mention on there. People's verdict, please, 61054. Just before the news, a confession from Nigel, a St. Custard's tale and an errant snowball, which was supposed to hit a friend, but actually went into the mug of the much-loved Mr. Bongo Giles, the physics teacher, covering him with very hot tea. Anyway, big response. What's the people's verdict?
Yeah,
then?
bags of verdicts tonight. Forgiven, says Jason and Joe Hicks in Bagshot. If you're in the middle of a battlefield, you're going to get caught in the crossfire. Bringing a hot drink was bound to end in disaster. Penny in Norfolk, forgiven. It always annoyed me to see a teacher in the playground with a hot drink on a snowy day when we're all freezing cold. In any case, in a snowball fight, teachers are fair game. But not forgiven, says Ian in Bedford. As a very young science teacher on a snowy break duty, I once foolishly tried to enforce the no snowballs rule set by the head teacher. This resulted in several hundred adolescents aiming snowballs directly at me. I'm scarred for life. But finally, Andy B says, forgiven, I attended the same school in Hull, probably before Nigel, as Bongo taught me back in the 60s.
Wow.
Owning up would not have looked good, so keeping stum was of the essence.
Okay, very good. I like that. More Bongo memories. Okay, so we would like your confession, please. Should you have one, send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.
Okay, well, I do have something seasonal for you. I thought a German Schlenkerler Krausnen lager, which is brewed with a hint of smoked malt, would be perfect for bonfire night.
Okay, and what's it called again? Just run that past me.
Yes,
don't
yes.
make me say it again. Schlenkerler Krausen.
Plays left back for Eintracht.
That's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll have a half. Thank you very much indeed. Here we go with tonight's confession, which comes from Colin. Good evening, Colin. Simon. My confession takes us back to the 1970s, to a small state school with a twist. Part boarding, part day pupils, and very much stuck in a bygone era. Picture Hogwarts, but with fewer spells and more polyester. The masters roamed the corridors in flowing robes, and the school bell system ruled our lives with military precision. Bells rang for lessons, breaks, prep, tea, you name it, there was a bell for it. Okay.
Wow.
I know there are very few state boarding schools, and this is clearly one of them. But then, says Colin, someone in authority decided to modernise. Out went the trusty bells, and in came a speaker system that emitted a ghastly electronic whine. It was quieter than the bells, so speakers were installed in places that had previously enjoyed silence, including the school hall. The new system had two supposed advantages. It was automated, and it allowed our headmaster, Mr. Ronald Moore, to address the entire school like a Budget Radio 4 host.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Budget
Cue
Radio 4.
much amusement and the birth of Radio Ron. Through till 4 with Ronnie Moore. Well, I was heavily... Now, you have to understand, I was heavily involved in drama. And that year we were staging Antigone, the Greek tragedy. I was in charge of lighting. If you're unfamiliar with Antigone, let's just say it's not laugh a minute.
No.
Antigone is an Athenian tragedy written by Sophocles around the year 442 BC.
Yeah.
It was first performed at the festival of Dionysius of the same year. She is the daughter of Oedipus, king of Thebes.
Thebes, yeah.
Her mother or grandmother, no one's quite clear, is either Jocasta or Eurygenia. I hope that's all clear. Anyway, Father Simon, all you need to know is they're a bunch of weirdos. There are goats, horns, wine, and a lot of death. Ah, tragedies, huh? Directed by the lovely Miss Montgomery, the play demanded intensity and focus. But just as Antigone confronted King Creon in a pivotal life or death scene, the speakers let out their mournful whine, shattering the mood and reducing the tragedy to farce. I was enraged, but I knew what had to be done. The next day, I quietly disconnected all the speakers in the hall. Problem solved, or so I thought. Later that week, Mr. Moore, you remember him, Through Till 4 with Ronnie Moore.
Ronnie Moore, yes.
Attempted to broadcast one of his Radio Ron sermons, but from the hall came only chaos. Pupils chatting, laughing, pretending to be Noddy Holder or Susie Quattro, utterly unaware of his dulcet tones. A brief investigation followed, and soon enough, I was hauled out of English and into the headmaster's office. Someone had grasped me up. Mr. Moore was not amused. He loved the microphone. He loved to broadcast around the school. But what I hadn't considered, and what he pointed out with considerable drama, was that the speaker system was also part of the fire safety system. Had there been a blaze and had half the school perished in a fiery inferno, it would have been entirely my fault, he said, pointing a withering finger at me, which seems a little harsh. I took the feedback on the chin, life lessons and all that. Years later, I was helping at a drama competition, and who should be the judge but the fragrant Miss Montgomery herself. And this is where I realised the consequences of my actions. Over a drink, she confessed that she'd received a right royal telling off over the speaker sabotage. Her career had been on the line, and all because of me. She said her life as a teacher was only saved by the fact that Antigone was a roaring success.
Of course, it always is. Yes.
What a relief that is. So, Father Simon, I do not seek forgiveness from Mr. Moore, through till 4 with Ronnie Moore, a lovely man and a great headmaster, sadly no longer with us. Nor do I seek forgiveness from the fragrant Miss Montgomery, who, as the only adult in the room, might have foreseen the consequences. But I do seek forgiveness from my fellow pupils, whose lives I inadvertently put at mortal danger, all in the name of Greek tragedy. Well, let that be a lesson to everyone about the perils of Greek tragedy. Stephen Fry, are you listening? Okay, let's check in with Sister Suze. What do you say to Colin, please?
Well, Colin, I have to say, I do think he was being a little bit, presumptuous there, because yes, what would have happened if there was a fire and then nobody in the hall knew about it? Just danger, I think there.
Yes.
Also, not sure you can say a bunch of weirdos when he's referring to all of the characters in the Greek tragedy.
It's a long time ago. They're all dead now. They're all dead. It's 400
yourself,
BC.
I think, Colin. It's fine. And I'm not going to forgive. No.
Brother Matthew.
Quite the review, though. Bunch of weirdos, Antigone. I'm going to forgive. It sounded like Ronnie Moore liked the sound of his own voice, didn't he? Just Ronnie Moore. So he probably had it coming. Miss Montgomery should have taken control, shouldn't she? Or maybe not. But certainly didn't deserve to do the job. But she didn't. But who knows? But well done with Antigone. Great news. So for all those reasons and the Greek tragedy, I'm going to forgive.
That made absolutely no sense at all.
Yes.
Does Colin get your forgiveness, though? That's the question. 61054 on the text, please. First word is Simon. Another school confession from Colin, and he was in charge of the speaker system for the school play, but he disconnected the speakers because the new system was interrupting the school production of Antigone. Miss Montgomery, the fragrant Miss Montgomery, got into a terrible trouble and got a real dressing down. Also, by the way, how about this? See what you think. Through till 4 with Kate Thor.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Is that right?
Shall I get in touch with the jingle department?
I think that could work.
Yeah.
Anyway, the people's verdict, how did it go?
Everyone's forgiving tonight. Johnny in Tooting, forgiven. I'd have done exactly the same. He was trying to put a production on, and the incessant alarms were ruining the production.
Yes.
Michelle in Cardiff, forgiven. How was he to know that the alarm system was connected to the fire alarm? They should be two completely different things. As Matt would say, I blame the system. And Steve says, I forgive this. I went to school in the 70s, and health and safety really was very different back then. In our production of Peter Pan, we had someone swing in, hanging on to some rope. Lethal, but looked great.
All right, very good. Thank you for the verdicts. Thank you for the confessions. Send yours, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. First of all, just a little sharpener before we get there. What are you offering, Suze? What have you got from the bar?
Well, I'm going a bit retro today. I saw something, I haven't had it for ages, and it took me back to being at my nana's and getting it off the pot man. It's dandelion and burdock.
Oh, I thought it was going to be King's Ginger there for a minute.
He's obsessed with King's Ginger.
No, Fentimans do a very nice version of dandelion and burdock. So yeah, tasty.
Lovely.
All right, probably with some ice though, just to take the edge off.
Oh yeah, definitely with some ice,
I think. Okay, very good. Well, that's fine. We can have that whilst we're going through the shows. That's very good. That's a top tip. Thanks, Suze. Okay, now today's confession, it's probably a 12, I would say.
Oh, right.
Particularly if you're eating.
Okay, that's a good sign. I like it. Yeah.
And also, and I think everyone knows this, don't try any of this at home.
No.
Oh, no.
It comes from Gorgeous George. Thanks, Gorgeous George. Good day to the collective, Father Simon, Brother Matt, Sister Susie, and everyone else who knows me. This tale started as a young lad who had just produced 2 wonderful front teeth. which were unfortunately and fatefully taken away from me after a fall from a bicycle's crossbar and a friend landing on the back of my head.
Oh!
There's more of that to come.
Oh, right.
The 2 wonderful teeth were dislodged, and it hurt like billy-o, to put it mildly. This meant I had to have a lot of dental work done, as you can imagine, and over the next year, I had nerves drilled out.
Okay.
And other complicated matters. But in the end, my teeth were replaced by 2 metal rods on which new teeth were fixed. Okay?
Yes, got 2 rods and 2 teeth.
2 new teeth.
That's right. That's a lot of pain in those few paragraphs, I
Yes.
think. We now fast forward 4 decades.
Thank heavens for that.
40 years later, my girlfriend suggests that I get some new teeth fitted, which I agreed to as the old ones were a little discoloured and did not present quite as stylishly as I would like.
Okay.
So...
The teeth, not the girlfriend. But anyway,
yeah, that's right. I'm imagining. Well, who knows? I mean, maybe both.
Good for you.
So, with the new wonderful teeth at £400 a pop, I felt like a new man. And I had the grin of a Cheshire cat. Gone with the old rotten teeth, and in were new shiny whites, giving me a certain Hollywood swagger. Think George Clooney, think Jennifer Garner, or Ryan Reynolds. I dazzled. Sadly, a few months later, whilst eating a crispy piece of pork crackling,
Of course.
my favourite,
Yeah.
No.
it's either that or Bombay mix,
Yeah, why not?
I noticed a gap. I thought, where's my tooth gone? To which the answer was, I had swallowed it. And that was the most expensive meal I've ever had. Now, my lovely lady was shown my new look, and with a look of horror, she said, you need to book the dentist immediately. So I did. I had 2 days to wait for the appointment, 2 days to consider my loss and keep my mouth shut. Soup and mushy peas were the only food allowed. Matt's favourite.
Yeah.
To be honest, Father Simon, I was pretty miffed at losing a £400 tooth.
Wow. 400 quid?
Yeah, 400 quid each.
Each?
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
said.
I mean-
my new wonderful tooth, 400 quid each.
Goodness me.
Yeah. Do you not listen?
No. I was, transfixed. Go ahead. Anyway.
So he swallowed a £400 tooth.
£400 tooth.
That's why it's the most
I got
expensive
that bit.
meal he's ever had.
Yeah. Mushy
Okay.
peas and soup, apparently. Anyway,
And then
carry
Gorgeous George says, I had a brainwave. Maybe I can salvage the tooth, I thought. Now, Father Sam, I'm no expert in human biology.
on. Oh,
But
here he comes.
I did what... That's exactly what he said. But I did what anyone else would have done. I sat patiently with a sieve in one hand
No, this...
and a book in the other, waiting for the blighter to appear.
Yeah.
And in the end, my patience and superior sifting skills were rewarded.
Oh.
And this, let me tell you, was on the actual day of the dentist visit. So I cleaned it, scrubbed it and bleached it, superglued it back into position and cancelled the dentist. Off I go round to the girlfriends. On opening the door, I was politely asked to show off the work of the dentist. And I smiled, and on seeing the bright new tooth, I was greeted with a loving kiss and many more since. I know I should have told my girlfriend, but I was afraid of no more loving kisses. I asked for her forgiveness, and I hope the kisses will continue. So she obviously didn't know until just now. As for the collective, we will see. Best wishes, Gorgeous George. Now, yes, well, precisely. The orchestra getting it absolutely right. But the problem with this is she's the woman that's actually doing the kissing, and you're the one with the and you know, I mean, all things considered, I suppose cleaning, scrubbing it and bleaching it, fine, but you don't glue in your own teeth, do you?
Well,
I would say that's fair.
yeah, I mean, we're not dentists, are we?
No.
Yeah, I think that's standard.
So I would say, on balance, don't do any of these things that Gorgeous George
correct.
did. But Sister Suze, what do you say?
Yeah, I don't agree with anything that George has done. I think even if you have said tooth, take it to the dentist to clean and sort it out and assess whether it can go back in your mouth. Just disgusting. Well, a sieve, I hope
Sieve
you
in
put
one
the
hand,
sieve
book
in
in
the
the other.
bin afterwards, because No, George. No, George.
So when Matt said, "Here it comes," I thought,
Yep.
that's exactly right. Brother Matthew.
Yeah, I decided to forgive as soon as the sieve came out. Good work there, well done. I mean, surely he'd have had a case if he managed, obviously, a bit of sifting and catching it. Couldn't he have just gone to the dentist and said, "This cost 400 quid? You put it back in." Surely. Maybe the dentist should have, I think I'd have got onto That's Life or something.
Parts and labour.
Parts and labour. Oh, of course. Yeah. You've got to bring in the VAT as well. So I'm going to forgive. He did all he could. It's his mouth. If he chooses, she's obviously got to kiss him, but it's his mouth. And aren't we all just one happy family? So for those reasons, I'm going to forgive.
Are we all big one happy family?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd like to be told still. The people's verdict, please, for Gorgeous George. 61054. First word is Simon. Just before the news, we had a confession from Gorgeous George about a swallowed tooth, a sieve, a cancelled dentist trip, and a forgiving girlfriend. The people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Not forgiven, says Sarah. How much of a cheapskate do you have to be to go through your own to find a tooth? It's not worth it. Just get a new one. Debbie in Lichfield. I am definitely not forgiving. My dental implants are costing me $2,500 each, and I wouldn't do what he did for that much money. Teresa from Whitstable. I'm unsure. Am I the only one to wonder what happened to the sieve? Forgiveness is dependent on whether it was rinsed or replaced.
That's a very good question. I'm afraid we don't know what happened to the sieve.
We don't know, sorry.
But bearing in mind what Gorgeous George has told us, my guess is it was washed.
It was washed.
and was put back into service.
Goodness.
That's what I'm thinking. Your confession, please. Confessions at greatesthitsradio.co.uk.